Hey guys, welcome to today's session of the content creation webinar. Today is session 3, and we are going to be looking at understanding the content creation process. For the past 2 sessions, we've been laying the foundations for this specific part. This part is going to teach us how to create your own content and how to curate content. Curation is simply gathering content from other sources that are not necessarily yours, but that help your audience achieve what they want to achieve. For the first session, we looked at what content marketing is, what you should know about its benefits for your business, for your personal brand, and for your church, how to set objectives for your content marketing initiatives, and then also how to create the right content and what makes great content. Last week, we looked at the buyer persona and the buyer journey. We got to understand how they're related and how you can create content for the buyer at every stage in their journey. In today's session, we are going to be looking at these things. So we're going to discuss a checklist that you can use to start creating content. We're going to look at how to find ideas or topics for your content efforts. We're going to look at how to create the content and how to curate the content. And we're also going to touch a bit on performing keyword research, which is going to help you to get topics to create your content with. We'll also be looking at how to measure the impact of your content, because if you do not measure the impact of the content, you'll not be able to tell if you are meeting the business goals you set from the beginning. Then we'll also look at how to achieve consistency with your content creation efforts. And then finally, I'm going to share with you some tools that you can use to create content, be it image, video, quotes, GIFs, presentations, and all of that. So let's jump right in. So we are looking at the beginner's checklist for content creation. In the first session, we looked at creating business goals for content marketing. So this checklist is putting together everything we have done so far. So first of all, you want to have a goal for creating the content, brand awareness, drive sales, drive lead generation. There has to be a goal for your content creation efforts. And then you have to do some audience research and create personas. Last week, we looked at how to create the personas and then what a buyer persona is. Then you need to do a content audit. What do you currently have? What is available in the industry? And what are the gaps that you can fill with your content? Then from an understanding of your business goals, your audience, and the gaps that are available, you go ahead to do topic or keyword research. It is going to direct you in where you're going to create the content. From there, you compile everything you've learned about what your audience are looking for, who they are, the gaps you have found in the industry that you can fill in your business goals, and you create a content strategy to help you be consistent with your content creation efforts. And then finally, implementing the content strategy would mean that you will get some sort of results. It could be the results you're looking for or something else. So you would review the performance of your content and then see how to move forward with the rest of your content creation efforts. So you have to get your business goals, know your audience, create personas for them, do a content audit and find the gaps that you can fill. Go ahead to create topics and find out what topics your audience are looking for. Compile all of this into a strategy that you implement, and then you measure the efforts of your implementation. Now let's take a look at what the content creation process is. There's not necessarily a definition for this, but I am defining it as this just to give you an idea about what the process is about. So the content creation process is turning your marketing goals into valuable content for your audience. So you are going through a process of turning the business goals you have into valuable content for your audience that helps you achieve your business goals at the end of the day. So it is a cycle of creating valuable content for your audience based on your business goals. Do you understand? So that is what the content creation process is. And here is a simple process, or I call it an iterative cycle of creating content. So you now know that the process is about turning your business goals into valuable content, which will move your audience to help you achieve your business goals whilst also achieving their own goals. So let's look quickly at the content creation iterative cycle. The first thing obviously is to understand your needs and your goals. As a small business, as a church, as a personal brand, what do you want to achieve? Do you want to reach a particular group of people? Do you want to make sales? Do you want to become known in the industry? What are your goals for your business? What are your goals for your church? What are your goals for your personal brand? Then after you have specifically listed out what your goals are, you go ahead to find out more about the people you want to reach. So if you want to reach, let's say, young people in Ghana who are interested in the UN and its activities, then you know that that is who you are looking for. And young people span the age of 18 to 35 or 18 to 24, depending on which definition you are using. So you want to get into the heads of these people. Where are they spending time? What is interesting to them? What are their goals? And how can you create content that meets them where they are, so they get to know you more and then they get to connect with you? Or if you're a church, you want to get young people to understand that your church is youth friendly. So you want to stay on the places that the young people are. Where are they spending their time? What questions do they have about the church? What questions do they have about Christianity? And you position yourself to answer these questions. So learning about your customers will give you that advantage to support your business goals. The third thing you want to do is to perform the keyword or the topic research. So what are other churches talking about? What are other small businesses who are into fashion design, or who are restaurants, or who are bridal makeup services? Or what are they talking about? Is it appealing to the audience? Are they getting the engagement they are looking for? What other things are the audience searching for on their statuses that they are saying that they don't have information for, they don't have understanding of, that you can take advantage of and create? So that's where you are doing the keyword research and the topic research. The fourth thing is that you're going to create a strategy that captures everything you have done, your goals, your tactics, your content, your people, the people you want to reach, everything into a strategy. And then now you go ahead to create and curate the content that will enable you to achieve those goals. As you can see, this is very similar to the beginner's checklist, but I wanted to highlight this as a cycle, so you know that it goes round and round and round. So every time, if it is in 3-month intervals or 1-week intervals or 1-year intervals, every time you have to go through this process to make sure you are creating valuable content that helps you meet your goals. Remember, you can create content that fits your needs, that makes you feel like you have done something, but essentially it's not helping you reach your goals. So maybe you're pushing a lot of buy, promo, discounts, but then you're not getting the sales. It could mean that you are not doing it the right way. So it is important to rework what you are doing to ensure that you are meeting your customers' needs, and they are in turn understanding what you want them to know and coming to you to buy from you. Now let's look at how you can get ideas for your content. Now we understand what the content creation process is about. And for me, apart from the goals and knowing your audience, the other important thing is knowing the right content to provide for your audience. The first thing you can do to get ideas for your content is to hang out with your audience. It could mean a physical hangout. It can mean an online hangout. So I am doing a content webinar series that is allowing me to hang out with the small businesses, personal brands, and churches that I want to work with. So they get to understand who I am. They get to understand what I offer. So as a small business, as a church, as a personal brand, engage with your audience, talk to them, be on their channels that they use. What are they complaining about? What are they irate about? What are they wishing they knew? That is a source of information for you to know what content to create. So on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on especially Reddit and Quora, because people are always asking questions. So you can just go to Quora or go to Reddit and type in your keyword for your industry. So it could be makeup artist or something of that sort, and just go and look for what people are talking about in that regard. The next thing you can also do is to look at your analytics and your insights. So what is the information you are getting from your efforts showing you? Is it showing you that people interact more with your videos, which are talking about tips and checklists and how-tos, or they interact more with your quotes, images? So you look at the data you have. Which one has more engagement? Which one do people reference when they want to make a sale? When they want to make a purchase from you? Those things will give you an idea about what content to create. The other things you can also do is to use tools. So there are tools like Answer the Public, BuzzSumo, Google Trends, Moz Explorer, and Uber Suggest. All these things, you can type in keywords. Answer the Public, for instance, you can type in keywords, and it's going to give you a collection of questions around that particular keyword. So for instance, if I type sister locks into the query, it will show me how to do sister locks. What do you need to know about sister locks? It will give you so many examples of content that you can create around sister locks in the form of questions. So in answering those questions, you get to create content that your people are looking for, because it pulls all this information from searches and the search history from the search engines. BuzzSumo lets you see which content is trending in which particular industry, how many shares it has, and all of that. So you get to better understand the content that people are engaging with more in your industry. And the final thing is that you can follow trends. So on Twitter, a lot of things trend. So you can find out what people are interested in at a particular point in time based on what they are talking about. So these days, COVID is more of a trend because it is being spoken about everywhere, online, offline, in your community. I mean, you see people everywhere with all these new nose mask and all of that. As a fashion designer, that is something you can pick and use, because then it's a new era of like fashion design with the whole nose mask thing. People may have to use it for their weddings, they may have to use it for funerals and all of that. So can you come up with some creative content that helps people, you know, get to enjoy some fun around COVID, regardless of how gloomy it is? So that's how you get ideas for your content. Hang out with your audience, look through your analytics, use tools, and follow trends. These are how you'll be able to get ideas for your content. So now that you have ideas for your content, how do you create the content? The first thing is that you have to choose the type of content you want to create. So are you going to create blog posts? Are you going to create videos? Are you going to create infographics? Are you going to create quizzes? Are you going to create polls? Are you going to create contests? What content type are you going to create for that particular keyword? So if I wanted to create a particular type of content for, let's say, small businesses and digital marketing, I can create how to use digital marketing to improve your sales, or 6 digital marketing mistakes you are making. Those are the topic ideas I have. But I can decide, okay, I'll create a video on it, I'll create an infographic on it, I would have a conversation live with a specialist in the industry. So choose what type of content you want to create. The next thing is that you choose the platform you post the content on. So if you're going to post on Facebook, if you're going to post on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you're going to post that content, even WhatsApp, they all have different formats that cater to that particular platform. So if you pick the same image and you spread it across all platforms, the quality gets lost in the process. However, once you choose the platform you want to design for or you want to post the content to, you can create the content to meet the standards of that particular platform. The next thing is that you use the tools that are available to create the content. So if you want to be blogging, there's WordPress, there's Blogger, there's Medium, there's Drupal, there's a whole lot of blogging sites that you can use. If you want to do infographics, you can use Canva, Vismin, Venngage, a lot of other tools. If you want to create video content, there's Wistia, you can use YouTube or Vimeo. There are a lot of tools that are all available, which I'll give quite a number of them to you getting to the close of the presentation. So you know your topic, you know what content type you want to create, you choose the platform you want to create it for, and then you go look for a tool to create that particular content. Now you have the content created, maybe your image quote is created, you distribute it to the particular platform you created it for. So if you created it for Facebook, you put it on Facebook, and probably you can go to Instagram and share it over there. You could do a screenshot. I mean, a lot of screenshots are working these days. So you can do a screenshot from Facebook and then put it in your Instagram story or put it as your Instagram post. You make sure you distribute the content beyond the native platform you put it on. So the native platform, for instance, for articles would be WordPress or Medium or Drupal or your own website. So you want to distribute the content beyond those platforms: WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, and all the various social media platforms. If you want to even do an SMS blast, email blast, that is all up to you. Now that you have chosen the content type, you have chosen the platform, you have created the content and distributed it, the final thing is that you collect feedback and analytics. And this is important in creating your own content because the feedback and analytics lets you know which content type works best for your audience. And then you continue giving them that content type. For a lot of research, it is said that people engage more with video than with images and text. But it depends on the type of audience you are reaching out to. There are some business people who prefer to still read the daily graphic and the newspapers and the online articles. So you have to know who you are creating the content for. So once you create the content, you collect the feedback to know which one is being interacted with the most. If you go to Facebook, for instance, you can see the demographics and the breakdown of the people who are interacting with your content and all of that. So now you know how to create your own content. You know the topic you want to create. You choose the content type, you choose the platform, you create the content using the tools available to you, you distribute it, and then you review your performance all the time to make sure that you are going on the right angle. Now let's look at a few content types. The first process or the first step in creating your own content is to choose content types. As I mentioned, there are articles, interviews, slide share, presentations, tips, processes. So the process of how to do something. So how to style your own sister locks, or how to create your first graphic design if you're a graphic designer, or how to get more sales to your shop if you're a business analyst or a business consultant. There are checklists, quotes, holiday posts are also a great way for you to engage with people, because on holidays, a lot of people are online and they're engaging with posts around that particular holiday. Behind the scenes, if you are a filmmaker, for instance, you can show some behind the scenes to show people how the bloopers happened and all of those stuff. Listicles are generally articles on that list, let's say 10 things your mother hates about you, or those kind of articles that talk about particular list. You can create quizzes. People are always on Facebook, especially filling one quiz after the other: how you look in 10 years, who you marry, all of those things. So look for a quiz that fits into your industry and your services and provide those quizzes. Then there are the interactive memes and comics or cartoons. I mean, TV3 does that very well, where they create cartoons that depict certain situations and things that are happening in the political industry, and I mean in Ghana overall. You can also create contests, promotions, and discounts. There are a whole lot of content types available for you to create. Then this particular slide, I want to help you choose the right platform for your efforts. As you can see, there's a value complexity matrix. So you have to choose a platform where you are giving, low effort, but it brings you high value, or high effort and you get high value. As you can see, the blue session over here says that high value, low complexity. This gives you easy wins. So which platform can you post on very frequently and still post a lot of valuable content that your audience can engage with? WhatsApp can be one of them, because if your audience already have your contact, that's a great way to reach them. Instagram also for some types of business, especially restaurants, salons, makeup artists, people that communicate a lot through imagery. And then the high complexity and high value are more strategic. So it means that for those particular platforms, you need to exert a little bit strategy in making sure that it helps you meet your needs. Low value, low complexity is not really worth your time. So a lot of small businesses don't know where to start or where to live. This is going to help you do that. So you can have a table, you have the platforms on one side, you have the value it will give you on one side, you have the effort to take you on another side. That's a 3-column table for that. So platform value, effort. So between 1 to 6, if you take Facebook, how much value will Facebook bring you? Are your people on there? Did they interact on there? So if they do interact on there and they live on there, maybe a 5 will do for that. Then you go to effort. How much effort will it take you to post on Facebook? You use Facebook yourself, Is it going to take you too much time to post on Facebook? It's going to take too much time, maybe you put a 2 there. So at the end of investigating each platform according to what value and effort to take you, you go for the ones that are usually high value but low effort. And then also the ones that have high value by high effort, you can put some work into that. Low value, high effort is not necessary for you at all, because it's going to bring you next to nothing, but then it's going to take a lot of your time. So this is a simple way to determine which platform will be the best for you to use to reach your audience. So the platforms you are going to use in this value effort evaluation is going to be the platforms you discover that your audience use. So then this is just going to help you start off from the right place. Do you understand? So now let's go to how to curate content. We've looked at how to create your own content. Now let's look at how to curate the content. The first thing, as usual, what are your goals? What are your goals? If your goals are to educate your audience, then you look for platforms that educate your audience in the industry you're in. So for me, how do you call it? Sources that I can get some of this information. We have HubSpot, Buffer, Hootsuite, Digital Marketing Institute, Content Marketing Institute, and a whole lot more, Neil Patel, and a whole lot more. So you want to create a list of all the sources that are going to be valuable to you and are going to provide you enough content and enough value that will help you educate your audience. Remember, your goal is to educate your audience, if that is your goal. If your goal is to generate sales, look for platforms that will still help you to push that. Then decide on how much of the curated content you want to produce. So do you want your curated content to be 20% of all your content efforts, which means that the 80% is going to be your own content effort. So decide, maybe if I'm going to post 4 times in a week, 1 time of those 4 times should be curated content, the 3 will be mine, or it will be 50-50, 2 curated, 2 from me. Because there are some industries that you don't have the specialty in completely. You are also still learning, but you have the expertise in them, but your experience is not very advanced. So you can decide to do 50-50. Then once you have created a list of the sources that you are going to use to curate the content, and you have decided how much content you are going to share from curated sources, you share the curated content, with personal insights. So I am sharing with you content creation process. I have read from several blogs, taken several courses, but I have curated it and brought my personal insights. And based on my experience, I'm giving you this information in such a way that it will help you attend to the specific things that you need to do. So when you get content from elsewhere, don't just push it out there, but try to add your own flavor to it to help your audience connect to it. So that's how to curate content in 4 simple steps. Define your goals, create a list of commendable sources, decide how much curated content you want to share, and then go ahead to share the content with some personal insights from you. Now, let's look at how to perform keyword research. This is how you get to the topics and the keywords that you are going to use to create your content. The first thing is that you choose a tool, because most of these things are happening online. So the best place to get this information are from tools that are curating that information online. So Google search, everybody uses Google search. And when you type into Google search a particular keyword, it gives you related keywords. So all those are possibilities that you should put aside and then check the volumes later on to see which ones you should go with first. Then thirdly, because I already spoken about typing in the keyword. So you choose a tool, you put in your keywords, you record the essential information. So essential information here is that what is the volume? Usually when you do a Google search, you can see 3 million results. That gives you a little bit of an idea of how many people are tapping into that particular keyword. And it gives you a fair idea of the competition that you'll be up against. But a better tool to use for that is Google Keyword Planner. So it gives you the keyword, it gives you the volume, the search volume, average monthly search volume. And you can choose the relevance to your business. So you have gotten a group of keywords, you would get how voluminous they are over a period of time. And then near each keyword, you are stating the value of its relevance to your business. So if it is very relevant to your business, maybe you do a 5. If it is not really relevant to you, you do like a 1. And then at the end of the day, you are putting all of these into a document. So you have the keyword, you have the keyword, you have the volume, average monthly volume, you have the relevance to your business. And then based on the relevance to your business and the volume, you choose which specific keywords you want to start your content creation with. And then you generate ideas around that content. As we spoke about earlier, now you know the keyword, you start looking for the content ideas you can create around that. So this is the time that you can use the answer the public tool, which will give you some questions to help you get started. So that's how you do your keyword research. You use the tools, you record the information, you choose which keywords are relevant to you, and then you go ahead and generate and brainstorm the content around that particular keyword. Now we have looked at how to create content. We have looked at how to curate the content. I've taken you through how to do the keyword research. Now let's look at how you can measure the performance of your content after you have created it. The first thing, you have to set key performance indicators. So what is going to show you that the content you have created is meeting the target? So the first thing you want to look at is set KPIs. So it could be engagement, website traffic, referrals, increased conversions. So maybe if you are getting 20 people placing an order every month and you started content creation consistently and you are seeing 60 people, you know that your KPI has seen some improvements. Then you want to track the metrics. So you have created the standard indicators. Now track each and every one of them. How are they performing? So it means that before you start your content creation efforts, you have to create a baseline. That baseline is the existing data you have. So you create that baseline, record it somewhere, so that at the end of a month, at the end of a quarter, at the end of half a year, at the end of the year, you can compare where you have come to against where you started from, and then you can get a better sense of how you are performing. Now, you also want to create funnels for measuring your content. So create experiments that help you understand how the content is performing. So you can decide to test 2 different types of content that are all around the same idea, and then create like a start to finish process for it. So maybe the person that engages with content piece A, they have to find content piece C, they have to find content piece E. And that's where you can see that, okay, the person really goes from A to C to E, as I said they should, or they go from A to F to G. Then you know that, okay, that particular funnel is not working. Then you can refine it. And you also want to analyze the data. Data analysis is a very, very important aspect of succeeding in your content creation efforts. If you do not analyze your data, you don't know what is working and what is not working. And you just be doing cost 90 work, or you'll be working in a vacuum. So you want to analyze the data you are getting from your content creation efforts. Then last of all, you have got all the information from the data you have collected. So you now use that information to improve your efforts. I keep putting improvements and reviews into all the how-tos because they are important for your continuous efforts. And the goal is that you are creating content consistently. So it means you have to keep improving your content creation efforts. So in measuring your content performance, you go to certain KPIs, key performance indicators that are relevant. You track the metrics for those key indicators. Then you create experiments that let you test some of your ideas or some of the funnels or some of the processes you think people should take to achieve a particular goal. Refine whatever it is based on the information you get from that. Analyze the complete data you get from all your efforts, and then you improve your efforts going forward. Now, let's look at how to achieve consistency. You know how to measure your content efforts, you know how to create the content, you know how to curate the content, you know what the process, the iterative process looks like. But how do you achieve the consistency? First of all, you have to create a workable schedule and stick to it. So maybe I want to blog every Wednesdays. So you make sure that every Wednesdays you write a blog post. It could be 300 words, because I mean 300 words is the minimum number of words that is good for SEO. So 300 words. Or you want to post to social media 3 times a week. Make sure you do that, because it is when you create a schedule for yourself that it makes it easier for you to do. Posting to social media doesn't mean you have to sit on there all the time yourself. There are tools like Hootsuite, Buffer, and a lot more tools that you can use to schedule your post ahead of time. And IFTTT helps you to perform certain actions based on your customer's response. So you can just set it, if this, then that. So that's the IFTTT, if this, then that. So it takes certain actions based on what particular responses your customers give. So you don't wait for inspiration to strike. Create the content ahead of time. As we said last week, the content strategy outlines your workflow and everything you are going to create. So if you know that for the next quarter, your goal is to build brand awareness about your business, start from today. Create content that covers at least for the next 2 weeks, because now you know how to do the keyword research. You know how to generate the ideas around it by looking at what people are talking about and following trends and all of that. So create the content ahead of time so that you don't have to be depressed because you can't create or you can't come up with a creative idea for that particular day. So come up with the content ahead of time and then push it into design, into development, whatever you need to do. You can even set WordPress, for instance, allows you to write the draft, preview it, and then schedule it to be published at a later date. So if you want to be blogging every Wednesday, on a Saturday, you can write the blog, edit it. Monday, you come and review it again. And then you schedule it to be published on Wednesday. So Wednesday, you don't even necessarily have to go to WordPress. You can just check if you are going to distribute the content at 6 p.m. You can just check on your website at 6 p.m., get the link, and then just push it out without having to go back to WordPress and do all of that work. Then also frequently collaborate with other people. Everything cannot be in your head. For instance, for me, the next session is not, I'm not going to be the one moderating it. The next session is going to be moderated by a friend of mine from 93 Studios, who is a social media geek. He's a social media professional and he knows his stuff. You understand? So collaborate with people, because you get tired. You get tired. So collaborate with other people, collaborate with other churches, collaborate with other businesses. Find ways that you can both provide value for each other. On Instagram, you see a lot of these partnerships, paid partnership with this person, and the other person is sharing their content and stuff like that. So collaborate with other people, reach out to other people in the same industry who you can work with. Document, don't just create content. That is something that comes from Gary Vee. Gary Vee documents his entire life, his up and downs, and then from that, they pick content that is necessary, that they feel would appeal to their audience. So document whatever is going on. If you are a hairstylist, keep documenting your process, document the styles and all of that. Because I mean, people come in and they want to see the styles you have done before they can trust you with their hair. You understand? People walking into your small business, they want to understand testimonials and all of that. So document all these things. And then based on what you have gathered, you create the pieces of content from there. The last one is to repurpose your content and create evergreen content. Evergreen content is a type of content that is relevant all the time. So with just a few updates, it is relevant to the times. Something like tools to look out for in content marketing, for instance, is something that is evergreen, because the tools just keep getting updates, but the core principles doesn't really change. So look for some of these contents that you can create that can take you months and years, and all you have to do is update them per what is happening in the industry in a particular time, and repurpose your content. So if you have a YouTube video, for instance, for this particular webinar I'm recording, I can use it for an online class. I can take bits and pieces that describe particular processes. I can make images, I can make quotes from it, I can create diagrams from it and all of that. So once you create a particular piece of content, find ways that you can repurpose that particular content to create other pieces of content. So that is all for today. We have looked at how to create your own content, how to curate your own content, how to do keyword research, how to measure the performance of your content, and how to achieve consistency in your content creation efforts. These are a collection of tools you can use. They are ranging from tools from getting image posters, to videos, to boomerangs, to how do you call it, GIF, infographics, slides, and all of that. So you can just look through all of these, read up on them, and choose the ones that work for you. I use Canva because it allows me to do almost all these things, because Canva has animated videos, it has codes, it has image sizes for all types of social media posts. I can do presentation. I did all my presentations in Canva. So there are a whole lot of options. Just go through these and choose the ones that work best for you. So thank you very much for joining today's session. The next session is going to happen next week, Sunday, the 31st of May, 2020. It's going to be at 4 p.m. GMT. And you're going to be looking at creating engaging social media content. Do not miss it. Chris will take us through this session, and he has a lot of insights to share with you. If you are part of the WhatsApp group, leave your questions on there. I will respond to the questions. If you're not part of the WhatsApp group, you can leave your comments on here. I'll also respond to you, and we'll keep the interaction going. So see you next week, Sunday. Enjoy your week, and make sure you put everything you are learning into practice. Else, it would be useless spending your time on this particular webinar. Thank you very much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.